Hello everyone, how's it going today? Back to take a look at the Alien CV again, and unfortunately I gotta mod it some more here. Last video really addressed this area over here with the thrusters and things, and I screwed up. I didn't put in the side thrusters again, and I also, I wasn't really happy with replacing what was there with these smaller thrusters. They're not as efficient. Need a whole lot more of them to get the same effect. So this tutorial, I want to try to figure out a way to get the propulsion set up, and I would like to get as many big thrusters as I can in these side areas um, for your back thrust, side thrust. If there's space available, I'd love to get in a couple down thrusters too. Now it has a couple up here currently, which could easily change. Actually, I think they will, because the bottom's probably going to come down a little bit further there. But I wanted to jump into that right away here and see what can be done on it. And we'll give it a whirl here. Okay, so it's better now. Um, got the new thrusters back in, which is great. And it's some weird stuff going on over here, though. I think it's smoothed off enough where it will, once texture and everything, will have the right look again. Um, Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see. I might flare this out a little bit on the bottom here too. Um, Now the back part, I pulled these thrusters back 3 blocks. I did that so I could make room for these and have a space in between, but actually it's got 2 spaces in between now, so they could actually go back a block, and then I have to kind of rebuild this side area here to fit that. So I think I'll just get going on that right now. Yeah, this one's tricky. Definitely tricky. Um, it's getting better, I guess, but now I'm trying to think on how far down should this ship actually go. I really didn't want to have the center area so deep as what these side thrusters are. So what I actually am thinking about doing now is trying to curve this up from this low point here up a few blocks, and then maybe kind of level it off. Now when this thing lands, so that's another issue, is to get in a hangar with a ramp, you can only go off the ground, or at least from where the hangar door is, um, I believe like 2 or 3 blocks. And this is up about, quite a bit if the bottom was there. And I don't really think the bottom will be there, but so I think that is going to be the next big thing to do. But yeah, move that other thruster over to here now. So there's 4 lift thrusters. Now, when building this day and time with weights and volumes, you want to put an emphasis on lift thrust. 4 of these big ones is a lot. It's a lot of lift thrust. Now, granted, this is going to be a pretty big and heavy ship too, but technically, I believe it could have easily got by with 2 of those pointing towards the ground. But 4 would be for carrying a lot of cargo. I did that with one other ship, the Charon CH-10 cargo hauler, and that gives you an incredible amount of lift power. Now, what's neat though is short of, well, the front thrusters, because there's only 2, I definitely want to have a power option in this ship where it shuts down like half the thrusters. And I could technically shut down one of the front thrusters, but that just looks stupid. And that's the only thing I don't like about running few but big thrusters is I can't really shut some down. Unless I wanted to add 2 more going in the front as well, which I really don't, to be honest. I think that it's got plenty. And 2 on the sides, and there is 2 big ones going down and 4 big ones going up, and there'll probably be 4 big thrusters pushing it from the back. So the back and lift are going to be the big points on getting a lot of thrust in there. And with what's in here now, granted after the back thrusters are in place and the rest of that junk gets removed, I believe it would do pretty good. And this whole area, yeah, this is a huge hot box, which is great. It can stay off to the sides, and I think I will have an awful lot of usable space inside this ship that I don't have to fear heat and radiation from. Now, one other thing I might try to do, and I think I've got plenty of room in here yet, maybe even up on top, I just don't want it directly touching the thrusters, is to put in a couple of the big generators. One on each side. Keep those away from the interior as well. And I think all in all, when you actually get in this ship and you first step into the hangar area, it's going to look pretty massive from inside. Now, one of my, I've been thinking more and more about how to do an interior for the aliens, which I haven't really done yet. The SVs and HV alien stuff, they had really no space to work with, to do anything at all with. This will have a lot. And I'm thinking I'm gonna it's gonna be very curvy on the inside, possibly some semi-asymmetrical. We'll see how that goes. But I kind of like the idea of like multiple levels, open architecture kind of thing, with a lot of curves and of course the alien texturing and looks and things like that. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing some interior space, but before I actually do the interior of the ship, once the hull's done, probably get back to the alien base and tool with that. In fact, I was actually kind of thinking about doing that tomorrow, because I really wanted to start getting a style down, and so I can use that on this ship. and it'd probably take a lot of trial and error to get something right again, but at least I got the general idea on texturing and things down on this kind of thing. But yeah, it's getting there. It's I will say it's a very complex ship, but you know, it's Alien. It's supposed to be. It is easier building these traditional ships for me. Um, Not that this is too exotic looking right now, but as it goes, I'm going to keep on trying to add flares and things to it to make it look more unique. Now the bottom is something I'm seriously thinking about too, on how this is going to all be done up. And yeah, keep in mind I still want to do something with these thrusters here as well. But I think my idea is to probably uh, start lowering the bottom down 1 or 2 blocks more, and then build some kind of angled wall to meet the bottom of the ship over on the sides here. And then I'll have to look, but I would like to actually get some landing gear on these as well in this area. And this neat little lip here, now granted I only have one turret there now, but I could flatten this out and add, you know, more turrets. I could probably stick a couple, 2, 3 there, even at different heights, which is kind of neat. I like to have some bottom turrets on these things. But yeah, no doubt this is going to be one expensive ship. And in the end, I would like it to be able to take on ships, but like my most powerful CV at the time, which is the Nemesis battlecruiser. I'd like it to be able to take on a ship like that and either beat it or hold its own. So when I do build these things, I try to think of their counterparts in the human faction, I guess you could say, on what would these things fit into. So this would be kind of like this is definitely a battleship, but it's going to be a big carrier too. So I don't know. It's going to do most everything. Probably not mining though. Well, you know, it would be awfully nice to have mining on it too. But anyway, that's a video for today. I hope you enjoyed that. Just before I go, I've done some work. Now I got back to this Overwatch, which I started quite some time ago. I finally got around to redoing a lot of the turret mount positions, and I made these top ones up here facing vertical instead of horizontal, and I had to remove a couple rows that were going up the side in doing that, so I could use the turrets on the top. No, the case in point of that, and I actually think this might be a little bit weaker now against SVs, as I thought it was very strong against SVs before. But HVs, one thing that was pointed out is you could charge this thing and park like an HV like somewhere over here or something like that, and then there was very few turrets that could hit you. Maybe like these side ones over here, and then there was the one that was vertical already. But it made it kind of easy to defeat. Well, I wouldn't say easy to defeat, but you could start blasting it without taking much fire. Now with making all these vertical, it fires down at the ground pretty well. So if a HV tries to roll up and be protected from a lot of turrets, it's no longer going to be, and they're going to start lighting it up pretty good. But if you come in with an SV, granted there's a lot of turrets that are going to be able to shoot you yet, but not quite as many as there was before. I got to figure out how to actually like test this. I would like to make this into like an enemy and load it all up with ammo and then try it out with some SVs and HVs to see how hard it actually is to take on this base. As in destroying it, well, one other thing too is the core is kind of embedded in this room, and I added more layers in front of the core. In fact, there's a row of lag shock locks here, another row over here, another row here, and then another row in front of that. So it's getting pretty tough there. Um, and I don't know of any good, easy way to defeat this, especially now that hopefully these vertical turrets counteract the HV attack that was suggested that would be its weak point. I'm just trying to make it as strong as I can. It's coming in as a class 3, so it's not a real big base. Well, I wouldn't even call it a base. It is a defense tower. It's got a little bit of base functionality in it, but you wouldn't want this as your main base. Well, anyway, that wraps it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow. Might be working on the interior of that alien base. It's about time. I kind of want to get that moving along pretty good, and and then get back to the CV again after that. But I might tool around a little bit with trying to get more of this body work done off screen to move this along a little bit better. It's keep on getting held up by redoing existing areas, so it hasn't really advanced much in the in getting complete. But I mean, you got to get this stuff done. I mean, it makes me kind of not like a project if I know I got a flaw that I don't have resolved before I move forward. It just kind of bugs me the whole time, and I like to get that moving and fixed so I know everything is good, and then continue on. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and you all have a good day. Thanks a lot.